Hello, good morning and good evening. Today I'm talking about the new criticisms left part. Last time also I talked about the new criticisms, tenets of new criticism. This is a slide second. First slide I made last time. So it is, what is new criticism? I'm somewhere in the middle, right? New criticism is nothing but it is the principle of reading the text itself. It is against our authorial intention, authorial meaning, authorial ideas. It is regarding the text itself, regarding the text book, complete whole organic object of study. So the principle of new criticism is close reading. So close reading is how the text organic unity was established by the new critics, because new criticism believes that the literary text can be understood mainly by understanding its formal elements. Like paradox, it has introduced formal elements. Formal elements are paradox, irony, ambiguity, and tension. These are the four formal elements that new criticism has introduced. And apart from these four features, tenets, there are other figurative languages, images, symbols, metaphors, similes, conceit, and other concepts, whatever they are introduced in the text. So, new criticism always focuses on close reading of the text. Read the text as organic whole, organic unity. Read the text as the complete entity, complete object. Read the text objectively and find out the formal elements, like how the paradox is used, how irony is applied, how it is ambiguous. Ambiguity means ambiguous, multiple meaning deriving sentences are there, and how tension is maintained, right? So one example is given here in the and just reading in this slide. Figurative language is a language that has more than literal meanings of the literary text. Figurative language means not only one concept, it has more meaning, multiple meaning, not singular meaning, right? Scientific language has direct meaning and factual description, whereas this figurative language has indirect meaning, connotative meaning, right? It's raining cats and dog, that's a phrase, and it's raining cats and dog means raining very heavy, but not actual cats and dogs falling from the sky, right? That is called literary language, figurative language. Images have always a literal meaning, but it can have other meanings too, right? Sometimes not only literal meaning, it can have just indirect meaning. Description of cloud means that the weather is cloudy, right? And they can evoke an emotional atmosphere too. For example, description of clouds can be used to evoke sadness, happiness, maybe there is a rain. This sort of language is there in literary language, but this type of language is not found in exactly in scientific language and day-to-day communication, right? Public symbols are easy to find out. For example, spring is the symbol of rebirth or youth, right? Or autumn is the symbol of death or dying. That is what the symbols are there, and that is literary language only. And if you say in scientific language, autumn means autumn, winter means winter. It does not talk about youth. It does not talk about death. It does not talk about age. Does not talk about rebirth, right? And river is the symbol of life or journey. And in scientific language, river means the river. But in literary language, figurative meaning is that river means just journey. River means life. It is always moving, going ahead, not coming back. Is the life does not come back. Once we grow up and we do not get chance to come again in the childhood, right? So symbol has properties similar to those of the abstract idea it stands for. For example, a river can symbolize life, because both river and life are fluid and forward moving. Both have a source and end point, right? Thus, new criticism has focused in the organic unity of the text. All the text is complete. Literary text is complete within itself without the connection of the authors, without any relationship with other society and atmosphere. That is the idea. Analysis of the formal elements of the text, like paradox, irony, right, tension, ambiguity. These are images, symbols. They are to be analyzed. Close reading of the text itself means the text itself is complete and read closely. Ignoring the author, ignore the society, ignore the readers, but explore the beauty of the literary text. That is the main concept of new criticism. Ignore the readers, ignore the authors, ignore the environment outside, ignore society, ignore everything, but focus or explore the beauty of literary text with the help of formal elements that is found within the literary language. This is one example now. The poem is there, new critical reading of the poem. And the title of the poem is There is a Girl Inside, right? And see the poem. And she is randy as a wolf. See, this is the language. Girl inside. A speaker is an old woman. And she feels that there is a girl inside. And that means she is emotionally young. See, her desire is enough, erotic desire, sexual desire, her lust is too strong inside her, though she is old. And that erotic desire of the girl is as strong as the as a wolf, right? That lust is as strong as the wolf. And she will not walk away. That girl does not walk away. That remains always within her. That is inside her. She cannot go. And leaves these bones to an old woman. See, this is an old woman is a speaker. And this, the girl which is found inside, who is found inside her body, in the sexual desire, the erotic intention that she has in her heart, in the old bones, are quite strong. They do not run away. They do not go away. She is a green tree. Now girl is compared. Green tree. Green tree, this is a metaphor. And she is quite young. And then in the forest of the kindling. Kindling is another word. And this is dead wood where fire catches too much. Too fast. In the same way, that young girl is too attractive, too ready to face or get the sexual intercourse, right? She is a green girl. Again, see that, not dry, and is in a used poet, right? She has waited. She is waiting. That girl inside her is waiting. How? Patiently, as a nun. She is compared with the nun. This is simile again. Right, for the second coming means she has inside double role. Second coming, maybe it is compared even with the Christ, right? And her second coming means second position. In old age, her desire is just like second coming desire, right? And when she can break through gray hairs into bosoms, right? And her lovers will harvest honey and thyme. See, lovers will come, and harvest means they have the sexual relationship, and honey can be found there in the sexual relationship, and the woods will be wild. That woods, right? And with the damn wonder of there is a girl inside. See, this is a very beautiful poem, and while analyzing the poem, this poem, we need to analyze only the words: kindling, green tree, girl is compared, inside the girl, within the old body of the old woman, bones of the old woman, right? And second coming, comparison, passion, waiting as passion as a non, and lovers harvesting. These all the formal elements of the language, and then full stop. How many full stop are there, right? These things are there. These are the things, that is what we need to analyze in the new criticism. Let's see now analysis of the poem. The title, the poem's title, There is a Girl Inside, which serves as the opening line, and the final two lines of the first stanza, which refer to the bone of the old woman. See, that is said, tells us that the speaker is an old woman who still feels young and vital inside. She feels young, powerful in her lust, and then vital, great inside. So the central tension in the poem is the tension between the youth and the age. There is a tension between the youth as well as the age. Age means young, just old one, The woman is quite old. That old woman has the tension. She has the tension of her youth. There is the That's why the formal element, there is a tension, there is paradox, there is irony and ambiguity. And we find when we analyze this literary, this poem in the from the point of view of new criticism, there is the tension between the old age and the youth, right? Because she's young inside and she's old outside, and this tension she cannot maintain, she cannot control. This is the problem. That is what the text has presented. It is the tension between what the speaker feels like and inside and what she looks like on the outside. She feels strong, powerful, erotic from inside. She is old from outside. So there is a tension between inside and outside, right, in the poem. The language of youthful vitality, girl is there. Randy means sexually free, and then assertive. Green girl, and blossom, these refers youth. These are all. Green girl means youth, blossom means youth, randy means youth, right? Assertive, free, and erotic desire. These words give that sort of meaning. This is the application. This is the analysis, reading of just new criticism, through a poem through new criticism. The language of aging and decaying. See there, bones, that is aging, and then decaying. Old woman, kindling, that is also aging, old, right? Dry wood used for starting fires reveals sexual desire or the lust. This is how the poet has used the language properly to depict how the inner feeling of the woman, the girl inside, that has, though she is old enough, though she is young, her bones are old enough, right? The old woman is dreaming about the second coming of her youth. Her youth is coming again. There is a second coming of her youth. She feels and waits the girls inside herself. See there, she feels and waits there that second coming is in her life. Her sexual desire, her erotic desire is just like second coming. There is still girl inside her despite her bones and grey hair. She is quite old, grey hair and bones are old, but she has still very good intention of erotic desire. So the theme of the poem is the paradox of timeless youth. She is always young for sexual desire. Paradox, timeless youth. See, we have found tension was there. Now there is a paradox. Though she is old, she is timeless young. Her old age has not touched her. That is a paradox, right? Because when she is old, she should not have that sort of desire, erotic desire, sexual desire inside her. That is timeless, right? That's a paradox. The poem consists of youth, fertility, and sexuality, even in the old age of the woman. Even though she is old, but there is a fertility inside her. There is youth inside her. There is sexuality inside her. There is lust inside her. That is still we found with the woman, old speaker woman. There are only 5 periods, maybe 6 or 5 periods, maybe full stops are there. There are 6 periods perhaps in the poem. I have said there are 6 periods. In the first 2 stanzas, and there is only 1 comma in the third stanza. No punctuation at all. In the final stanza, there is no punctuation. This is analysis. Period means full stop. Until we get to the period that ends in the poem, right? We get the speaker's use of powerful verbs in the active voice. The language there is active voice, not passive voice. And this active voice indicates that the girl inside will not walk away. See, this is active voice. She can break through. That is active voice. Our lovers will harvest. These are all active voice. These powerful active verbs reinforce the idea that the girl is powerful and active and strong enough to get what she wants, right? So active voice gives the meaning of activeness of the girl, not passiveness, strong enough. That is what she is willing to do, willing to get it, right? The use of has waited in the third stanza reinforces the idea that the girl inside her is ready to emerge, ready to come out. At the moment it gets the chance, opportunity, that girls comes out and then just takes place in the sexual intercourse, erotic activities with the boy lover. Her waiting is over and should be over soon. She is waiting, and that waiting should be over. That is getting over and should over very soon. The use of simile, she is randy as a wolf, means that wolf is powerful animal that fights for what he wants and easily gets for what he fights for. That means the girl inside is also so powerful, so strong, so great that is fighting, and then one day, sooner or later, she gets it, right? The use of metaphor, see, is a green tree is useful that evokes the growing season, spring and then summer, the season of rebirth and life. So she is a green tree means she is getting life, getting rebirth from inside, from her inner desire. Okay, the green tree is a nature image again. This is the image of nature. It carries the inevitability of rejuvenation, means inevitability of enjoyment. Okay, that is what is given with the use of the language. Green girl implies that the girl is inexperienced. She is not an experienced one. She is inexperienced now, right? And then naive means very young, and at the same time unused to be wild. That girl is unused. She's so strong, so powerful, and she's unused. Maybe she's a virgin girl, right? That type of concept is given there, right? Virgin girls, virgin concept of the girl in the sexuality, right? The words harvest, honey, time have a ambiguity that reinforces the bond between youth and age. Kindling refers to old, dried of wood used for to start fires, and kindling catches fire so easily, and it associates with the quality of passion. Now kindling means passion, she has a passion. That girl catches fire means easily, so easily, it means that passion, that youth and age are at once there. She is so ready to face with the desire. The speaker is an old woman. This is not a young, but the slang randy indicates her sexual hunger. She is hungry for sexual desire. The word none has waited, and has waited refers both the second coming of Christ and the speaker's second coming or second round of her physical organism for the pleasure of erotic activities. She has that sort of second round of physical organism, physical activities, or just parts of the bodies are like that. The structure of the text is the tension between the youth and the age. So there is a girl inside is finely wrought literary text, beautiful text. It is unified, complex art, and it is an object which has its own universal theme of human significance. And we do not need to go to the author, what the author exactly wanted to tell the meaning. We do not relate it to the society outside. And complete meaning and other things are wherever we have to interpret, wherever we have to find out in literary piece of work is found within the analysis of the formal elements like paradox, tension, ambiguity. That is what these slides have explained, right? Now, that is a practical part of analysis. Now, new criticism is intrinsic, objective criticism. This is another topic. What is it? Intrinsic, inside the text itself. Objective, this text should be regarded as object, not relating outside, not relating to the past, not relating to the society, not relating to the reader's responses. It is complete within itself. That is intrinsic. New criticism asks us to look closely at the formal elements of the text to help us discover the poem's theme and to explain the ways in which those formal elements establish in the theme, right? New criticism believes that this is the only way to determine the text value. New criticism allows the literary work itself to provide the context within which we interpret and evaluate the text. We should not go anywhere. The ambiguity is determined not by the dictionary but by the context of the poem as a whole. Dictionary does not determine that ambiguity. Context of the poem gives the determination, right? Because there is a girl inside, there is a ambiguity, right? What is there? What second coming is there? Okay, confusions are there. And that is richness of the literary work. The word's meaning or meanings must be judged alone in the context of the text, not outside, right? The text formal elements and the aesthetic experience created by the work's organic unity must be judged within the context of the text itself, not outside. New critics believe that interpretations are solely based on the context created by the text, no outside, right? And the language provided by the text, interpretation should be there with the language, with the context. Interpretation should be carried out according to new criticism, that text, what the text has created, interpret it. What the language has provided in the text, interpret through the language. It is called the intrinsic criticism. Interpreting the text with the context, interpreting the text with the language provided by the text is called intrinsic criticism, intrinsic study. In other words, new criticism stays within the confines of the text itself. It does not go outside the text. It remains within the text, right? In contrast, forms of criticism that employ psychological, sociological, and philosophical framework is called extrinsic criticism. Extrinsic means go outside the text, relate outside the text to the society, relate to the authors, relate to the society, relate to the psychology, relate to the sociology, relate to the philosophical concept, and that is called extrinsic interpretation, extrinsic criticism. And intrinsic means just analyze the text within the context that the text has provided, analyze it within the formal elements, paradox, irony, ambiguity, and then tension, and language, how it is used, symbol, that is called intrinsic interpretation. In other words, all criticism other than the principle of new criticism is called extrinsic criticism. And in new criticism is called intrinsic criticism, because it goes outside the literary text for the tools needed to interpret it. In new criticism, it does not go outside the text. That is why it is intrinsic criticism. And in other criticism are outside the text. So relating with the society, relating with other things, right? And then that is called extrinsic. New criticism is also called an objective criticism because its focus is on the text, on formal elements, not outside. So objective criticism, find out the object in the text. New criticism claims that each text would itself dictate how it would be interpreted. Text dictates us, text controls us, and it asks us how to interpret it, and does not give the opportunity to go outside the text. Now, another title of this is single best interpretation. New criticism is regarded as the single best criticism, best interpretation by the new critics, right? The literary text is regarded as an independent entity, not dependent with the society, with a stable meaning of its own. Meaning is always single. Meaning is always stable. There is no multiple meaning like other literary theories. So best single interpretation, because whoever the readers, maybe the meaning comes the single, only one meaning. That is what new criticism thinks. New critics believes that the single best or the most accurate interpretation of the text could be discovered. The best represents that best represents the text itself. Text itself would be the only one interpretation. It is regarded as the best reading of the literary work in comparison to others by the new critics, but other critics do not believe in it, right? In fact, this method works best on short poems and stories, because the shorter the text, the more of its formal elements could be analyzed. This is very good criticism. Yes, single best interpretation, it is good interpretation, and it is applied only in poems, short poems, only in short stories, but not in long poems, not in novels and long text, because formal elements can be analyzed only in short text, shorter poems and stories. It is difficult to apply this method to interpret in the longer poems, novels, and the long stories. That is what the critics have said. Few critics, literary critics today, assert that literary text is independent of the history and culture that produced it, or that has a single objective meaning. Very few critics are there who believe that this is a literary text is autonomous, it is independent, it is objective, it is intrinsic. They believe that all literary texts are related with outside society, outside history, culture, ethnicity, and object, and not objective, but outside with the readers too. This is the idea. This is a criticism. It is rather ironic that new critics gift to critical theory its focus on the text itself. Other critics do not believe it. It is ironic, they say. The critics of new criticism believe that literary text can be interpreted in isolation to the society, cannot be interpreted in isolation to the society, isolation in culture, isolation in the time of its production, and isolation of a social context. They say that, other critics say that, critics of this new criticism says that it is impossible to interpret the literary text in isolation from the society, in isolation from the culture, in isolation from the time of its production, in isolation of its social context. It must be related with the society, it must be related with the culture, it must be related with the history, it must be related with the society, it must be related with the time of its production. Otherwise, interpretation is impossible. Is new critics say. That is what critics of new criticism says. It is objective that analyzes the text as an isolated aesthetic object. New criticism does that. With the single meaning as insisted by new criticism cannot be applied. This is the idea. Other critics says it cannot be applied. Single base meaning interpretation in isolation, aesthetic object, that is not possible. That cannot be applied. That is what the new critics of new criticism present their argument. Though new criticism has claimed that it is a single base criticism, right? Other theorists object it, and they claim that it is almost impossible in the longer poems, stories, and novels. This is a criticism. This is the best idea maybe new critics have presented, but what other new critics says, it can be applied. Critics of new criticism says it can be applied only in shorter poems, shorter stories, but not in longer poems and stories and novels, because in the shorter the poems, the shorter the stories, the better the formal elements can be just applied, that can be just analyzed. This is how the new criticism's concept ends. Thank you.